Thank you very, very much, everybody, for being here. Thank you, everybody who's still sticking with us over in the live stream on the chat. You guys are amazing. Absolutely love everybody that is here, everybody that's donated. We got one from Afterburn 739 there during the break. Thank you guys very, very much. And so basically, we're going to go ahead. Fuzzy, we got you back? Yep, Fuzzy's back.
Yeah, man.
We got Fuzzy back. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this up in the stream here. And we're going to play a little bit of this, and then we're going to get into our talk. First film up for Epic Film Guys Spotlight is going to be The Departed.
Hey, buddy, you going to eat that sausage?
So let's go ahead and open up the discussion. Since you are our guest, Fuzzy, for Spotlight, we will start with you for your thoughts, just kind of overall on The Departed. How many times have you seen it? How much do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it a piece of shit? Can Scorsese go fuck off and die? Don't say those kind of things. That's mean.
I won't say that about this particular movie about Scorsese, but no, this fucking movie, I love this movie so hard. It is one of those ones that I've bought like several times, had it on on DVD. I've had 2 Blu-rays of it. I love it to death. So many good roles in this. Fucking Marky Mark has to be the best in this whole thing, though.
I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
I love him in this movie.
He's a baller. So yeah, he's balling hard. But like it's great. Everyone suits it well. Baldwin's a boss too.
Whoops.
That's right.
It's one of my pet peeves with this film. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but one of my pet peeves with this film is just
fucking hell. Every 2 minutes.
It's literally like it only is in the beginning of the movie, thank God. It's only in the beginning of the movie, but Jesus Christ, like it's so like loud and obnoxiously blaring. And I know some people like dig on the Dropkick Murphys a lot. I think they're fine, but like I did not want it to be like I'm like, oh my God. Oh, good Lord.
It seems to suit it suits the movie to a T though.
It definitely does suit the movie, yeah. Definitely does suit the movie. Oh,
and how fucking good's Jack Nicholson in this movie as well? Like that guy is fucking amazing, right?
He gets a lot of shit actually for this movie because his Boston accent just kind of goes in and out in the movie, but yeah. I think he's really, really great in the role. And like, I mean, his accent's kind of, sometimes it's there more, sometimes it's not there, but I still think he does fantastic in it. He's a menacing guy.
I think it's probably his best performance he's done since then. That's my opinion, though. I love him in the movie. He is menacing. He's definitely got that villainous swagger to him, but he's still likable, and you still seem to care about him a little bit. I mean, obviously, him being Jack Nicholson adds to that, but he definitely is as brutal as he's supposed to be in the film.
And apparently the sound clips are playing really quietly over in the chat. I do apologize. I will try to get that ironed out. I think the trailer was quiet because of the actual volume in the media player was turned down, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, I'll keep working on it, guys. I do apologize if you can't hear anything. As long as you can hear the Dropkick Murphys, I suppose.
Perfect.
Oh my God. I added that to the soundboard just so I could obnoxiously play it a few times during this review. Oh my good Lord. Yeah, we'll start at the top. I mean, basically your plot synopsis is there's a mole within the Boston State Police, the Special Investigations Unit, and that's Costello's mole, who's Jack Nicholson, and then simultaneously they have a mole, Leonardo DiCaprio, in with Costello's crew, and basically it's just kind of this amazing tense cat and mouse game the whole film, as you kind of try to wonder, is he going to find out who the mole is here? Is he going to find out who the mole is here? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think Scorsese does a masterful job in this movie of just keeping you on the edge of your seat in terms of, are they going to find out? When are they going to find out? What's going to happen in the film? I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I mean, even though you know who both moles are, like pretty much from the get-go of the movie, I think that works really, really well because the audience knows what the characters don't. And even with that bent to it, like that could have worked against the movie's favor, but Scorsese just has the tension so ratcheted up. It's just absolutely perfect.
I mean, make no mistake on the quality of this movie. Not only was it successful commercially, I'm not sure if you recall, Nick, this baby won 4 Oscars at the 79th Academy Awards. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. according to information on the internet, the interwebs, this film was loosely based on Whitey Bulger and the corrupt FBI agent John Connolly, who we just saw a film about with Black Mass last year, which wasn't anywhere near as good as this movie, though I feel it definitely did try to take a few tabs from that movie and put it in this. But it definitely shows with, what was going on in Boston at the time when this film was made, with the way that the gangland was God damn it.
Literally every time in the movie, like I said, luckily he stops it early on. But yeah, I didn't mean to derail you there, Justin. But yeah, I absolutely agree. It's and of course this is also based on, I think it's a Hong Kong film called Infernal Affairs or Internal Affairs, something like that.
Yeah, Infernal Affairs. It's fucking awesome too. Really good. I'd highly recommend anyone who likes foreign language films, check out Infernal Affairs. It's it does this pretty much at the same level. So exactly the same storyline as far as this goes. Just no Boston accents.
So let's start on with actors, part of the cast outside of Nicholson. Leonardo DiCaprio in this film. This was not the first time he had worked with Scorsese. He plays William Costigan Jr. What do you guys think overall for Leo's performance in the film?
Yeah, big round of applause. He was probably like, it was him and Damon as the two sort of contrasting leads in this, and I thought he was much, much better. He just suits it well. He's going through this whole sort of mental breakdown of being undercover for such a long time and just out in the cold, and I love it. He just slowly devolves, and that scene when they're in the building at the end and there's the mole hunt and he thinks he's getting out, and then spoiler alert, he gets shot in the head. Oh my God, no one saw it coming. It was just like, yeah,
I definitely remember being shocked when I saw that movie in theaters and that happened. I never expected once to see pretty much everyone get offed at the end of this movie. It's not in a nihilistic or cynical way, in my opinion. It's just that's the world. That's the way that world works, and that's the way it is.
That's what's so great about it too, is because you get to the end of it where, it's kind of leading you in the direction like, yeah, this is going to be somewhat of a happy ending. And then, boom, all of a sudden the elevator door opens, he gets capped. And then, he plays Chase in season 3, James Badge Dale. That's the guy's name. He was the second mole in there, and he lets Matt Damon free, and of course Matt Damon, as soon as he gets his hands free, picks up a gun and shoots him right in the head, and also kills Anthony Anderson's character, which it's so fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's such a great story, and it does still, of course, have that happy ending where Matt Damon, he's the hero, he's being celebrated, he's the one that found everybody out, he gets to wrap the whole thing on James Badge Dale, and then he buys some groceries, he's headed back to his apartment, and then you just see Marky Mark standing there in that goddamn tracksuit with like the little cloth baggies over his shoes and rubber gloves on and stuff, pops him right in the head. Oh man, it's so great. So great, because it's like Fuzzy mentioned there when we were, still getting into it. Marky Mark, I would agree 100%. He's absolutely the best thing about this film.
He is the standout. Yeah,
he is fantastic in it.
And he's not in it that much. He's like, there's only a small amount of scenes that he's in, but every time he's on screen, man,
he's so on point.
Yeah, he just sucks up like every ounce of your attention, and you're like, yeah, I want him to say something else, say something nasty. It's so cool.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And for whatever reason, there we go. Yeah, for whatever reason, the live stream, the chat wasn't refreshing on the live stream, so I do apologize for that as well. Maybe we'll just drop this in here. There we go. If I have one complaint about this film, it is how obnoxiously often it cuts into that song during the opening part of the film. Like I said, but fortunately he does stop.
You're the first person I've ever heard, honestly, Nick, ever complain about that.
The crappy thing, the thing that I hate about that song too is it's just like the same verse repeated over and over again. It's like, I've lost my leg or whatever. Like, oh my God, just shut the hell up. But like
I think
said,
it's just from all my times hanging out in the punk rock crowd for so many years. I just heard that song so many fucking times at the bar and the shows. It was played constantly. It's just, I don't know. I kind of seem to forget about it. You just kind of get so used to it. But I get what you mean, though.
I'm just not the Dropkick Murphys fan that a lot of people out there are.
Hey, I like them, but I mean,
I like them too. But like, I mean, after like the third or fourth time. Yeah, right. After like the third or fourth time in the movie, where all of a sudden like there's a jarring scene transition and it's just blaring at you like, I'm like, oh my god.
Hey, well, look, I am just thankful that we finally got a Scorsese movie.
Fuzzy?
Where'd you go, man?
Yeah, his audio just completely died. I didn't know if that was you as well that had that experience, Justin.
Yep, he's not there.
Steve from Everything I Love from the Movies, or learned from the movies, excuse me, is at the Sierra Nevada Torpedo Room in Berkeley and has 12 beers in front of him right now. You son of a bitch. God damn, I've got a couple of beers chilling, waiting for me for a little bit later. I cannot wait.
I gotta wait, man. If I started in now, I'd be sleeping in the next 2 hours. So.
Yeah, right. No, that's why I put What Are You Drinking till way, way later in the evening. Even though, like I said, I will have a glass of bourbon with David and Juliet when they get on around 5. But yeah, oh man, I don't even know. But Fuzzy, we love you, and hopefully you get your audio issues sorted out soon. But in terms of anybody else in the cast, Justin, anybody else that you just love in this thing?
Well, I think collectively the cast is good. Matt Damon being one of the weaker links, I still enjoy him in the film. Martin Sheen is still good as well, even though he plays a small part as the captain. But
he plays a good counterpoint to Marky Mark's character, which is what he needs to do, and that's why I love him in it.
Exactly. And, I also like Alec Baldwin as the captain in the film as well, even though, again, it's another small role. But when you go into this movie, I remember when I first saw it in the theater, you were going into this knowing that it was a gangster by Martin Scorsese, and you saw those trailers, you knew the cast, so you kind of were really expecting a really good movie. And it was one of those times where I walked out feeling that I did see a really great movie, and I remember being really excited when it came out on DVD before Blu-ray was a thing, and buying that, and then rebuying the Blu-ray. And it's one of those that, everyone holds up Goodfellas is like his big accomplishment, which I agree with. And I also love Casino. I love Taxi Driver. I love Raging Bull. I love all of his great classic movies. But, this movie is a movie that came out at a time where I think people were thirsty for this kind of movie. And it definitely, it fills that void. And I hold it up personally right up next to those other ones because of the fantastic performances, because of the cast, and because Scorsese directed it masterfully. I mean, it's just so well put together. Never am I bored at one point. The pacing is perfect, and all the characters are interesting to me. And the one thing that it gets right, Nick, and I'm going to use this word because it's the best way to describe this movie, is it's genuine to the subject matter that it's based upon. It feels so real. Yep. So many of these movies, even Black Mass, for example, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed a lot about it, especially Johnny Depp's performance, but a lot of it just felt too Hollywood, too cinematic,
too sanitized.
The typical gangster tropes that we're so used to. It just followed those lines and it just stuck right to it. This movie kind of did its own thing with these characters. And I think a lot of it boils down to Leo's realistic portrayal of his character, the way that he performed as his character. You could totally relate to this guy. He's literally miserable. He hates the situation he's in. You can totally relate to everything he's going through. He's got personal problems on the side of this. He's trying to have a relationship as well. Well, if you want to call it a relationship, but I think all of those things, that's what make this movie so important, and in modern time as well. This movie could have felt dated, but it felt really in line with what was going on in modern times at that point.
I think we have Fuzzy back. Fuzzy, you back?
I'm back.
All right. Sorry about that. But yeah, just to wrap up discussion on this really quickly, because we're behind on time here. But I think it's an absolutely fantastic film. This is one of the prime examples that I really do think you can point to if you want to talk about the Academy awarding films for being due, or awarding filmmakers for being due. Not that this is not a fantastic film. I think it's absolutely incredible. But if you want to sit and you want to just argue Scorsese's body of work, the other stuff he was nominated for versus this film, then it becomes a little bit more difficult to discuss back and forth. Fuzzy, I want to just leave it with you if you just have any final thoughts on The Departed before we move on to Cloud Atlas.
Like I was going to say before, I'm just happy that he didn't use Gimme Shelter in the soundtrack this time around. So the first time that he hasn't used that song in a movie, I think. So it's pretty awesome.
You had to do it one last time.
I had to do it one last time, but that is, I mean, if you haven't seen The Departed is an absolutely fantastic movie, and like everybody here is saying, it's absolutely, it's just a spectacular film. It really, really is.